He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Friday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Getaway day for myself. I will be heading up to the Jacksonville International Airport in about 8 hours or so. Really excited about that 5:55 a.m. Saturday morning flight to Boston. Real fired up about that, but it'll be good to go to New England, see the in-laws for a little bit. I will be not with you on Monday and Tuesday next week, but of course it's March Madness, so I will be returning Wednesday to preview the NCAA tournament. But you ask yourself, now when Hacker's going to New England for the next 4.5 days, is he going to mail it in on a Friday night in mid-March here in 2025? Well, of course not. It would be easy to mail it in, right? But I wouldn't do that to you. There is just way, way, way too much to discuss. From the second round of the players, and boy, what a beautiful day it was out there at Sawgrass, to the SEC conference tournament and all the conference tournament action going on right now. Of course, like we said, Selection Sunday is less than 48 hours away. And, of course, there is NFL news far and wide, including an ending to the Cooper Kupp saga, which we will get to in one moment. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We got a terrific show tonight. Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network comes up in less than 15 minutes. As I told Baloo there during the 2-minute drill, at this point, mid-March, 5 or 6 weeks away from the draft, you kind of look for differences, right? Different takes, different outlooks, different theories. A lot of these mock drafts are basically the same, website to website. Well, Mason put out one earlier this week that got my attention, and if memory serves, it got some of your attention, at least on social media, as he had the Jaguars trading down from 5 all the way down to 21 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh came up to take Shedeur Sanders. Certainly plausible. Jacksonville, in return, received the 21st pick, the third-round Steelers pick this year, and Pittsburgh's first and second-round selections in 2026, and was still able to get Ted McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, at 21. I thought, that's different. That's interesting, and maybe moreover, that is plausible. You could absolutely see something like that happening, benefiting both teams. So we're going to talk to Mason Johnstone about that theory of the Draft Network. He comes up in less than 15 minutes. Also, my buddy Ryan Michael, KOA Radio out in Denver. He's also a analytics for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What I like about Ryan is, A, he's a Trevor Lawrence fan. B, he really, really loves Duval. But C, he does a lot of work out in Denver. So, A, I want to get him on about Evan Ingram. I want to talk to him about Evan Ingram and how the former Jaguar will fit into Sean Payton and Bo Nix and that offense in Denver. And then I want to ask Ryan Michael, who, again, is a contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He studies the numbers. He crunches the numbers. What about De'Ami Brown? What about the free agents on the offensive line? How did the numbers say the Jaguars fared earlier this week? So we'll do all that with Ryan Michael coming up later on in the 9 o'clock hour. May have a couple surprises for you as well. But we're glad you're with us to close out the week, a busy week here on Hacker After Dark. Every night here on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
What a week for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 9 free agents added. As we talked about last night, have you noticed they haven't re-signed any of their own guys? None of them. Blake Hance, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Mac Jones, Andre Sisco, Brandon Sheriff, Luke Farrell. They're all gone. Ledbetter, the most recent one, signs with the Giants. It is a changing of the guard, a turning over of the roster here in Jacksonville. And the Jaguars social media team does such a good job with The Hunt, that series they put on Jaguars.com. Did you see that little snippet they gave you earlier today, that little 2-minute teaser, if you will, where they had cameras inside the free agent war room, listening to James Gladstone, listening to Liam Cohen, listening to Tony Baselli? And at the very end of that clip, if you haven't seen it, it's certainly worth your time on the Jaguars social media channels. I don't know which free agent it was. It was either De'Ami Brown or Patrick McCarry. One of those two, I think, was more than likely who it was. Their particular agent called up and said, "Congratulations, my guy's coming." And the genuine emotion from James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and Tony Baselli is emotion that we haven't seen from here in a long time. Doug Marrone did not perfect that type of emotion. Urban Meyer did not give you that type of emotion. That just wasn't who Doug Peterson was, or Trent Baalke, or Dave Caldwell, or any of the guys that have been in charge here for a long period of time. There was fist pounding, chest bumping, high-fiving, just genuine fired up emotion from Gladstone, Cohen, and Baselli about landing one of those free agents on Monday. Inject that into your veins for the next 6 months. Will it mean anything come mid-September when you're in a battle in NFL regular season week 1 or 2? No, maybe not. But for the here and now, the new guys that are in charge, they obviously have a deep-rooted interest in turning this thing around. This is their barbecue now. This is their thing. And I loved, and I'm not using that word lightly, I loved seeing that type of emotion from the GM, the head coach, and the EVP of football operations about a pro free agent signing in mid-March. Imagine what happens during the draft. Imagine what happens if they have a game-winning whatever in September. Football's supposed to be fun, right? Football's supposed to be enjoyable. And quite frankly, let's be honest, being a Jaguar fan hasn't always been fun over the last decade and a half. At some points, it has sucked. Let's just call it what it is. Those three guys in charge now are trying to change that. And I absolutely loved the emotion I saw in that video released by the Jaguars earlier today. If you did not see it, it's certainly worth your time. Go to the Jaguar Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's only about a 2-minute clip. Again, it was a teaser, kind of a trailer, if you will. I think the first 30-minute Hunt season episode is probably a month or two away. But that was good stuff, man. That was really, really good stuff. And the Jaguars social media team, the website, our friends at Jaguars.com, they're second to none with stuff like that. Now, the access they're given is second to none as well. But shout out Jaguars.com because they always put out terrific material. My buddy PCAB, DeCandis, all the guys over there, really, really, really good job. The Florida Gators in the SEC tournament trying to avenge a loss earlier this year. Missouri was the only team to come into Gainesville and beat them. They are at halftime up in Nashville. Florida's put a 50 spot on the board in the first half. They lead Missouri 50-37. Missouri is actually not playing poorly. Florida is just playing really, really well. I mean, Missouri is shooting 43% from the field. They're struggling from behind the three-point line. Florida is shooting 63% from the field. 17 of 27 for the Gators. Walter Clayton with 17. Will Richard with 13. The Gators do lead by a baker's dozen at the half, 50-37. Again, if Florida wins tonight, they will await the winner of tonight's game between Alabama and Kentucky in the semifinals. And Florida could be on a revenge tour. They lost 4 games in the regular season. One of them was to this Missouri team they're playing right now. Potentially, they could see Kentucky in the semis if Kentucky beats Alabama, and potentially they could see Tennessee in the championship game. And wouldn't that be something if Florida got to see and possibly avenge losses to 3 of the 4 teams that beat them in the regular season. We will keep you updated. But again, Florida 50, Missouri 37 at the half up in Nashville in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Let's talk Jaguar free agency, what they did in free agency, how that will affect what they will do in the draft in late April. And as I said earlier, Mason put out a different mock draft than what we've seen. A mock draft that is against the norm. And this time of year, after looking at all of these mock drafts, I can appreciate something different. Mason gave us something different regarding what the Jaguars may do at number 5. I think it's plausible, too. I think it could happen. And we'll talk about it next. Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network on a Friday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
One of the few places drinking and driving isn't against the law.
Good-looking shot here.
Get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates
From Corona Premier, Campione Law, and Kuhn Flowers.
on 1010XL.
Tired of supermarket produce that's traveled thousands of miles before you get it? Treat your family to farm-fresh, Florida-grown fruits and veggies delivered right to your home with Doorbell Farms. No supply chain issues or questionable origins, just seasonal produce hand-picked from local farmers. Subscribe monthly and enjoy the best local farm produce delivered right to you. Sign up now at doorbellfarms.com, connecting real people to real family farms. Doorbellfarms.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I'm down over 25 pounds already this year, and I feel great with no side effects, all thanks to their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and their proven results. Plus, a firm pricing structure means there are no rising costs as you go. If you're ready for a leaner body ahead of the warmer weather coming, call my friends at Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344, Physician Guided Weight Loss.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
If you'd like to spend your spring and summer at the ballpark, plan to attend the Jumbo Shrimps Job Fair March 18th at the Five Star Ballpark. You can learn about the positions offered at jackshrimp.com.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Dreams Come True is the only local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
Builders Care is looking for volunteers, and there are so many ways you can help. Find out how at builderscare.org.
Canines for Warriors provides veterans with lifelong companions in one of their highly trained service dogs. If you know a veteran who could benefit from a companion or simply want to support, visit caninesforwarriors.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple build. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Big names, new jerseys.
To me, the most important aspect of winning is chemistry.
Follow the free agent frenzy. Built by Superior Fence and Rail and Roland Leash Plumbing. Tune up the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Florida homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contract protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Spend $6,000 and get up to $600 off. $15,000 up to $2,000 off. $20,000 up to $3,000 off. This deal ends March 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this Friday and Saturday evening at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Join us Friday as the Icemen take on the Orlando Solar Bears for Wizards Night, presented by Florida Department of Health. Come out and wear your house colors. Then on Saturday, the Icemen close out their home set against the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Game time at 7. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by calling 904-602-PUCK. Iceman hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
Keep your ball out of the rough with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Get great golf tips from the experts every Saturday morning at 10. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour on 1010XL.
Looking for adventure? Need a machine that works as hard as you do? CF Moto has you covered. At Ride Now Beach Boulevard, we've got CF Moto ATVs and UTVs built for any task, any trail, anytime. Tear up the dirt with the trail-tested C-Force ATV lineup or conquer through terrain with a Z-Force UTV. Find your CF Moto ride today at Ride Now Beach Boulevard or visit ridenowbeachboulevard.com. ATVs and UTVs are for riders 16 and older. They can be hazardous to operate. CF Moto recommends an improved safety training course.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
On 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, it has been a wild offseason for the Jaguars, from the head coaching search to the GM search, being the most active team thus far in NFL free agency. What does all of that mean when it comes to late April and the NFL draft? Let's talk about all of it with Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Mason's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Mason, how you doing, man?
Doing good, Hacker. Really appreciate you having me on.
Hey, buddy, we always thank you for joining us. All right, your job as a scout for the Draft Network, how does it change when you see the dust settle from NFL free agency?
Yeah, well, I posted a mock draft the day before, which can be tough, right? Because some of these team needs change rather quickly. But for me, it's monitoring who's getting signed where, and then the why behind it. Is this guy a depth piece? Is this a guy that you bring in, to compete for a starting job? And so it's just watching that closely and trying to evaluate how that affects the draft.
It's interesting here in Jacksonville, the most active team thus far in free agency, 9 outside free agents, including 3 along the offensive line. Now, I know the last time you and I talked, we talked about potential offensive line fits for Jacksonville, either at number 5 or certainly in rounds 2 or 3. The fact that they spent money on 3 outside free agents, does that affect your thought process when it comes to the line of scrimmage, at least on the offensive line for the Jaguars in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think when I'm looking at Jacksonville and kind of the next steps in the organization, I loved going out in free agency and picking up Patrick McCarry, Chuma, Edoga. I think McCarry's a guy that can step in right away. He can play all 5 positions. He's really a guy that I have always loved, personally, just because he can wear so many hats. And for an offensive line group, when you're dealing with injuries throughout the season and just changes in performance, having a guy that can go in and step in anywhere is a huge plus. But I really liked what Jacksonville did, being aggressive in free agency, getting the guys they want to get, and getting the guys that can help move this offense especially forward.
You mentioned McCarry, and I'm curious your thoughts. I would have no idea how to even look this up, but he has played at least 270 snaps in his NFL career at all 5 offensive line positions. I mean, that's crazy, right? Guys just don't do that.
No. And he's a special player, and he was really, I dove into the Ravens offensive line before the year, and it was really kind of special to see McCarry be able to move around the line and just be equally proficient everywhere. You never see that in the NFL. You got guys that can play swing tackle, swing guard, maybe you get a combo guy here and there. But for a guy to play all 5 positions, that's invaluable completely.
Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. They went to the secondary and got Jordan Lewis, a nickel, and they paid him pretty good money to come over from Dallas. And that means, Mason, at least it appears it means that Jarian Jones is going to get a look on the outside. Now, I know you and I talked about Jones a little bit last time. I thought he had a pretty good rookie year for what was a pretty bad Jaguar secondary in 2024. Are you interested at all that the new coaching staff believes Jones can be an outside corner in the National Football League?
Yeah, I love it. And I love the way that Jordan Lewis is going to complement him. I think if you just look at the secondary as a whole, having a guy, a true nickel player who, right, you just got from Dallas, and adding that to the equation, I really think, we just saw what Cooper DeJean did in the Super Bowl. But even aside from that, the nickel position has gone from a schematic personnel package to an all-downs defender. And you have to have that guy on the field because they can wear so many hats and they can roam around the field. They can follow the elite tight ends in the league and the running backs. They can play coverage. They can fit the run. So I really think that was an important position to hit. And then just having the flexibility to move a young guy outside, maybe you might see some growing pains there, but overall it's the right time to do it early in his career. It just let him get comfortable there and build him up from that.
You and I spoke about a month ago, and obviously a lot has transpired since, and I want to get to the mock draft that you put out at the Draft Network this week coming up in just a moment. But since we last spoke, Christian Kirk is gone. Evan Ingram is gone. It looks like it's going to be Brenton Strange time here in Jacksonville, at least at the tight end position. And then the Jaguars went out and got Dyami Brown from Washington, who was really good in the playoffs. It's a 1-year prove-it deal, so I kind of like that. I think he complements BTJ very well. I'm just curious your thoughts on the departures of Kirk and Ingram and how you feel guys like Dyami Brown and Brenton Strange will fit into this Liam Cohen offense.
Yeah, exactly what you said with Dyami Brown, compliment. And I think when you're building a receiver room, you want to have guys that can do it all, right? And you've got BTJ, and that's going to be your guy. Dyami Brown's, like you said, the perfect complementary piece that, he can play under, he can stretch the field. He's a guy that, I think you're going to see on those second and long, third and longs, Dyami Brown's going to be a reoccurring factor for this offense. And then I think it's a great time to go Brenton Strange and just really see what you can do with him. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. I mean, I know you guys just got Hunter Long, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility of picking another tight end in this class. But I really think that those are good moves as far as just kind of holistically building your offense and that passing attack.
All right, Mason, again, Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. You put out a mock draft recently that I'd say raised some eyebrows here in Jacksonville, not necessarily in a bad way, but it was, look, this time of year we look for different things in mock drafts, right? Every mock draft is pretty repetitious. Yours certainly was not. So let's dive into it when it comes to Jacksonville. The Jaguars are picking 5th. In your mock draft, a massive trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacksonville goes all the way from 5 to 21, but they receive a haul, including picks this year, a first and second round pick next year, and they still end up with McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. I want to talk about him in a moment, but what was your thinking with the Pittsburgh-Jacksonville trade in your most recent mock draft?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think Jacksonville, you're sitting at that 5 slot, and the temperature on the quarterbacks is fluid, right? So we're really not sure, where is Shedeur Sanders going to end up? I think for me, that trade came down to, if I'm Jacksonville, who can I get at 5, right? That I'm going to be unable to select at 21. And so, the temperature on Teteora McMillan is also kind of up and down. Matthew Golden's kind of pressing for that wide receiver one, aside from Travis Hunter, of course, that role. And I think some teams are going to be, have different opinions on these guys. And I thought the trade back is makes a lot of sense. Just, future draft picks are always awesome. From a Steelers standpoint, I think it's time for them to get in the mix and go get a young quarterback, go get a guy to develop. Even if you keep Russell Wilson or if you go and get Aaron Rodgers, I still think you go and draft a quarterback. I mean, the Falcons, what they did last year is, there's controversy around it, but generally, we look at what the Packers have done between Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. That's multiple decades of success, because you just always have to find that next guy. And we've gotten into this culture of expecting quarterbacks to perform right away. And we've seen, especially with, some of these guys that have sat in the league and developed, and they get around to year 4, year 5, or even Geno Smith, and you kind of start to figure it out. And I think just, I think if I'm Jacksonville, there's a little bit more room for me to hit different spots in this class. And I think sitting at that 5 spot, that's going to be a really valuable pick for someone. And to be able to move back, opens the door for plenty more, talented guys and, strong players.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't disagree with you, because since signing 9 outside free agents, the Jaguars filled in some holes. Now, a lot of people here are complaining there wasn't a lot of splash signings, but I think they raised the floor of this roster. So now you can go best available player at 5 or a trade down scenario. I guess my thought when I saw your mock draft in regards to Ted McMillan from Arizona, so you believe that he might be falling a little bit.
Yeah, and it's less about him for me and more about some of these other guys. And, the whole point of this mock draft was really, like you said, this time of year, I just want to throw out new ideas. I want to get some new players in the mix and just raise a dialogue about some of the other possibilities we could see. Mock drafts get monotonous by this time of year, but I really think, with McMillan, I think, people were maybe a little weary that he didn't run at the combine. I think I love the player. My opinion hasn't changed, but like you said, these things are fluid, and the receiver class has kind of been advertised as weaker than most. And I really feel like he's a guy that's probably going to end up in that 15 to 25 range, just off of the other talent that's in this class and the teams in front of, those spots that need guys in the trenches, or, they need quarterbacks, or, you got 2 elite tight ends that are going to get picked. So it's less about McMillan, and it's just more about kind of this whole process being, up and down.
Final moments, Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Mason, with what the Jaguars have at wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., they signed De'Ami Brown, you still have Gabe Davis, you still have Parker Washington. Are you of the opinion that they need to address wide receiver still relatively early in the draft, either round 1 or maybe round 2 or 3?
Yeah, I do. I really think that you can never have too many guys in that room. And just seeing what BTJ did for that offense, I would double down on it, and I'd do it again. I think that's the solution for, a lot of the apprehension that people have on Trevor Lawrence is give him more weapons. And I think you did a good job of addressing the offensive line, and that's surely an area that I also agree you could never have too many of. But I think you have to do everything you can. You have to exhaust all possibilities of getting Trevor Lawrence what he needs and building an elite passing attack that you can do with him.
I want to end with a Cam Ward thought. Final thought on the Jaguars as we begin to wrap up. They have not addressed the defensive line so far in the offseason. If they were to stay at 5, and so let's say Mason Graham is gone. Let's say hypothetically Abdul Carter and Mason Graham are both gone. Is there a defensive lineman worth taking at 5 if Carter and Graham are both off the board, or at that point do you try to trade down?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, there's a couple guys. I mean, Shamar Stewart's a guy that has a lot of question marks about his college production, but you've seen what Trayvon Walker has done, and kind of these defensive linemen. That production doesn't carry over, and people have to remember that. When this guy gets to the NFL, it's a blank slate. Okay, so now you've got a 6'4", 270-pound monster who you can develop and squeeze into the guy you want. Another player is Kenneth Grant, same school from Michigan. Grant and Graham were so fun to watch because they're such different players. Graham's more of a off the snap. He's a little bit more of a two-gapper. He can play nose. He can play one tech. And he's a guy that can really, get out and run, and he tracks the ball well. And I see Grant as a top 10 talent. And I think, you're playing next to Mason Graham. It can be hard to see that. I remember, me going to my Clemson fan roots, like that defensive line with Christian Wilkins and Dexter Lawrence. Like, you look back at it, Dexter Lawrence should have gone a lot higher. Mm-hmm. And it can be hard to kind of get clarity when you've got, two guys right there that are both super talented. And I think Grant's being slept on a little bit. I think he's absolutely a top 10 player in this class. And I don't think it'd be a total reach to take him at 5, because immediately he's going to be an impact player. And by the time the season ends and you see the impact he's had on your defense, you're not going to be sitting there thinking, I wish we didn't take him at 5.
Mason, final question. Cam Ward went number 1 in your mock draft. You had a trade between the Giants and the Titans. Whoever does have that number 1 pick, are we pretty convinced at this point it's going to be Cam Ward?
Yeah, I am. And I went back since the last time we talked, and I watched Ward, and I really think that, the draft media and the people in this space have kind of done a disservice to him. I mean, this is a guy that led the country in offense. And I noted this in my mock draft. When you look at the list of guys who've done that recently, just notable names: Jaden Daniels, Hendon Hooker, who we still, the jury's still out on him, CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. It's not an accident that all these guys are great football players in the NFL. And when you watch that team, I mean, Cam Ward's a truly special player. And like we talked last time, he's done it at 3 different places, 3 different offenses. And for me, when I'm projecting guys to the NFL, like, I can't anticipate a sudden change. That's not right to the player. So as far as I'm concerned, the things he's been doing his entire college career, he's going to continue to do. He's going to continue to be able to step in and adapt and learn new offenses and get the ball out to playmakers. Like, I don't see that changing for him. So I have him, going number 1 for the rest of my mock drafts. I think that's the kind of player he is. I think he's worth that selection.
Love the opinion, love the perspective, no doubt about it. Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Mason, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville what you have coming out on the Draft Network in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, so just, finished up our top 100 recently. Had a couple mix-ups in that, just seeing, getting back to the film after the combine, seeing how the testing versus the film, how those things correlate. We'll start getting our predictive mock drafts out here soon. Really, like I said, like this mock I just did is a little bit more of a personal note to everyone, just new ideas, but eventually we'll start getting in that predictive arena and really start to see what we think the teams will do. But yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Mason, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time. Let's hopefully do it one more time before the draft in late April. Appreciate you, pal.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network. Appreciate his time. And again, a different perspective, right? A trade that takes the Jaguars from 5 to 21 for Pittsburgh to come up, take Shedeur Sanders. But in doing so, Jacksonville gets a bunch of picks, and they still end up with Ted McMillan, who some of you want the Jaguars to take anyway, at number 5. I just like that opinion, that differing of opinion that Mason has from a lot of the other mock drafts that are currently out there. On Monday, the Jaguars brought in 9 guys, and we got the opportunity to catch up with different colleagues of mine from each of these markets to talk about some of these guys. But now that the deals are official and the guys have been introduced, in case you missed some of those conversations, I want to bring you a few of them, including going down to Tampa. One of my guys with the Buccaneers is J.C. Allen of Bucs Game Day. Let's talk about Robert Hanesy, the brand new center here in Jacksonville. Now, Hanesy's an interesting guy. He started 34 consecutive games in the 22 and 23 seasons and then lost his job to a first-rounder last year. Why did he lose his job? Why did Tampa draft somebody to essentially replace him? And why is Tampa kind of upset that Hanesy decided to go elsewhere? That's an interesting story. J.C. Allen of Bucs Game Day, which is part of SI, joins me next to talk about new Jaguars center Robert Hanesy on a Friday night here on Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Your radio highlight reel.
Caught for the touchdown.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tea time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas, build a protective barrier around your yard, and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those suckers ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The First Tee Tour Card is back for 2025 and better than ever, with access to over 15 of North Florida's best courses and new this year, local participating businesses. This card is your ticket to saving hundreds. First Tee North Florida is a local nonprofit who build character in youth participants through the game of golf. This annual fundraiser enables this amazing organization the ability to build game changers. Grab your tour card for just $99 at tourcard.org. for a list of participating partners, benefits, and restrictions.
The Mr. Chubby's Bracket Challenge is coming. Following Selection Sunday, go to 1010XL.com, print your bracket, and bring it to any Mr. Chubby swings during Live Madness games. Get a free Miller Lite for every game you pick right. Top prize, Saturday passes to Welcome to Rockville.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Oh, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone. Any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hicken here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins. Fighting for your rights since 1975.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, what a free agent period it has already been for the Jaguars. 9 guys so far, at the time of this anyway, have been, agreed to terms. They're not official until Wednesday at 4 o'clock, but have agreed to terms. And Liam Cohen is going to have a little company coming from Tampa, as center Robert Hanesy is one of those 9 that has agreed to terms with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go to Tampa. One of our guys when it comes to the Buccaneers is J.C. Allen of Bucs Game Day, and J.C.'s always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. J.C., how you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, just got back from the Bucs cruise, which was a good time down there in Key West in the Bahamas. So, and came back on free agency day. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I imagine that cruise was fun. I got a family cruise coming up at the end of May, and needless to say, I'm counting the days down. But still some work to do before vacation. Certainly free agency is one of those times in the off season. All right, Robert Hanesy. We know that he started every game in 22. He started every game in 23. He then, I guess, lost his job to rookie Graham Barton. Yet, by all indications, he's a guy that Tampa Bay really enjoyed having down there.
Yeah. Bob Hanesy, he's a really good player, strong player. Played tackle for Notre Dame. They moved him inside, kicked him inside at center behind Ryan Jensen, and he's come on. He's one of the most cerebral minds in the NFL. You talk to anybody in the locker room, talk to centers around the league. They mentioned Bob and his smarts and his ability to get everything lined up correctly, everything called out correctly, identified, make the line calls. He's going to do all that for you, and he's going to do it well. So the Bucs would have liked to have him back. Obviously, Hanesy wanted an opportunity to start after you said losing his job to Graham Barton. This is more of a size thing. Bucs want to get a little bit bigger up front. It had nothing to do with his skill or anything like that. It's just they wanted a bigger center, so they got a bigger center. Hanesy actually played a game for them as Graham Barton was out this year and had one of his best games as a pro. So the Jags are getting a guy who's a smart, cerebral-minded center, make all the calls, and he's also going to help Liam get all the guys up to speed with the new system as well.
Yeah, that's the interesting part because, like we said, he started 34 consecutive games in 22 and 23, but Liam Cohen wasn't there in 22 and 23. Liam Cohen was there last year when Hanesy was the backup center to Graham Barton. So are you surprised that Cohen kind of went this route? Obviously, Cohen sees something in him.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, if you're around Bob, you know how smart he is. He understands the game. Every season he's been working on his body. One thing that you could say could be a knock on Hanesy is his lower half. He can struggle to anchor against some power rushes or anything like that, but he is savvy and finds ways to win when it might be a mismatch. And again, I mean, he was their starting center for 2 years. The Bucs made the playoffs 2 years in a row, won the division 2 years in a row. He's a winner. He comes from a great culture, a culture that's going to be established there. So, Cohen, when he's looking at building his offensive line and bringing guys in that he knows are team guys, character guys, culture guys. And that's what Hanesy is going to be. He's going to be a culture driver for Cohen over there. And he's going to be the smartest one on the offensive line room. And he's going to be able to impart that wisdom and that experience in this offense to everybody else and really help bring them along at a faster speed than if they were just going in scratched with all new offensive linemen, no one that had worked with Cohen before. So it's a huge advantage to getting everybody up front because the center is the one that communicates. So everyone on that front five of the starting offensive line, they're all going to benefit from having him there. So the Bucs are going to benefit. The Jags are going to benefit from having him there.
A couple more for J.C. Allen of Bucs Game Day. Robert Hanesy, one of the newest Jacksonville Jaguars. He agrees to terms with Jacksonville to become presumably the starting center here in Jacksonville. And you mentioned Hanesy as far as a leadership standpoint, clearly working with Cohen last year in Tampa. He's going to have to help the guys get up to speed, as you mentioned. And we all know about the leadership role at center. Do you think Hanesy will be able to come into a fresh locker room here in Jacksonville and kind of assume a leadership role?
Oh, absolutely. He's the team that the Bucs offensive line room is one of the most close-knit tight groups in the league, and he's going to bring that there. And, they're all going to, I think he's going to get everyone to gel together and bring everybody again, because not just on the field, it's off the field, and the chemistry, the camaraderie in the Bucs offensive line is something I'm sure he's going to want to, again, culture driver. He's going to want to bring that same energy to that offensive line room. So it's going to be, I think, a great fit for the Jags. So you get a starting center who's got plenty of experience. He's seen it all. He's gone up against the best interior rushers in the league, and he can communicate what needs to be done at the line. It's so important for offensive line play, especially when you go to hostile environments where it's loud. Is being able to communicate those line calls to the other guys, and he's certainly capable of doing it. And if they decide to put any resources into the draft, he's a great guy to have as a mentor as well to younger players. He's a guy who knew he was losing his starting job when Graham Barton was in, but was pivotal behind the success of Graham Barton in his rookie year, being, the backup after being the starter for 2 years. But it wasn't a guy who was like, this guy took my job, whatever. He was there putting in the time, putting in the work, and being a resource for Barton. So he's a team first guy, a culture guy, character guy, and he's a heck of a player too.
J.C. Allen, Bucs Game Day. J.C., final question. We got about 2 minutes. How over the moon are people in Tampa that Chris Godwin apparently took a hometown discount to come back to the Bucs?
Oh, deeply. It's been a great couple days. Levante comes back. Now, Chris, you re-sign Ben Bredesen, and then you see the guard market exploding and some crazy contracts being out there. And, for them to be able to lock up Chris for the foreseeable future and probably, the twilight of his career, people are over the moon ecstatic. And it looks like the Bucs have brought all of their starters from offense back. They brought in Hassan Reddick on defense. They're making some more moves. They're cooking up, I'm sure. And looks like they're pushing the chips in for a title run.
JC, we know about Bucs Game Day. We certainly appreciate guys like you and Logan Robinson that join us. Also, tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, Pirate Parlay podcast. We're live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. I actually have an episode with Cohen on, so if you guys want some insight from Liam Cohen, kind of how he runs an offense, what he'll do, there's an episode from last year that I had him on, and guests all the time, talking Bucs, talking free agency, talking draft, and if you're like me and want to be more knowledgeable about the league as a whole, I try to check out as much stuff as I can. Tune in.
Hey, JC, where can people here in Jacksonville find that on Wednesday, the Cohen podcast?
Well, it was a previous podcast, but it's called Pirate Parlay on the Sick Podcast Network. You can find it on my X page at JC Allen NFL. But yeah, if you go back to the archives in the beginning of last year, I did a full hour and 10 minutes with Cohen, I think.
Hey, JC, appreciate that. Hey, when you get a sec, shoot that to me on social media, and I'll retweet it for everybody here in Jacksonville. Appreciate you as always, pal.
Absolutely.
There you go, J.C. Allen, a Bucs Game Day in regard to Robert Hanesy. And I watched his interview with Liam Cohen that you can find on his podcast. And it was interesting. It was an hour of just basically football talk down there when Cohen was the OC for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, a couple pieces of business. SEC tournament going on in Nashville. Missouri has gotten it down to at least 4 on a handful of occasions, yet Florida has worked it back to 10 right now. The Gators up 74-64. Walter Clayton left the game with what's being reported as cramps. He is back on the sideline. I think he's about to come back into the game. They have gone to a timeout right now. Again, you don't want any injuries, obviously. This Missouri team's a pain. I'm telling you, Denmark, look, and I'm not exactly a college basketball aficionado, but just watching this Missouri team, this is a Sweet 16 team. Missouri is going to be like a 5 or a 6 seed on Sunday. They're going to win in round 1, and they're going to get somebody in round 2. I'm going to tell you right now, in my bracket, I'm going to have Missouri going to the 16. They're good.
Yeah, they beat Florida whenever it was they played a couple weeks ago, and it's just one of those tough teams.
They beat Alabama.
They don't do anything like particularly well. It hasn't been the case. They've been fighting, trying to claw their way back. Florida, Clayton got back in the game with 10 minutes, and I think they just called a timeout. Florida just went on a minute run. I'm sure Missouri's going to come back. It's going to come down to the final 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, Missouri's a good team. 22-10 overall. They have wins over Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee this year. Florida up 10 right now. We'll keep you updated as the Gators look to advance to the semifinals of the SEC tournament, where they would play the winner of the game later on tonight between Alabama and Kentucky. And we finally have some clarity in the Cooper Kupp drama, soap opera, whatever you want to call it. He stays out west, stays in the division. The Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $45 million for Cooper Kupp. Hey, man, if they're willing to pay you that, more power to Cooper Kupp and his agent. $15 million a year for Cooper Kupp to me seems insane. And again, like I said earlier in the week, trust in James Gladstone on this one. That guy was around Kupp for a long time, knows him better than anybody here in Jacksonville. Is there anything left in the tank? Well, obviously Seattle thinks so, and they're willing to pay $15 million a year. But the Jaguars do not do that, and we'll see what Jacksonville does. I believe they will add another free agent or two, a wide receiver, and probably draft at least one. But I'm not paying Cooper Kupp $15 million. He's going to be 32 in November, I believe. Has already started having some injury problems the last couple of years. But good for Kupp, because that is a lot of money from the Seattle Seahawks. Speaking of wide receivers, the Jaguars had Christian Kirk. He is now a Houston Texan. And the Jaguars have a former Texan in Eric Murray that is going to be the starting safety now here in Jacksonville. Let's go out to Houston. We caught up with John McClain earlier on, longtime NFL reporter, well-respected in the Houston area and really all over the National Football League. Let's talk about the reaction from Houston about acquiring Christian Kirk, and let's talk about Eric Murray, the brand-new starting safety here in Jacksonville. John McClain out in Houston joins me next. Halftime here on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We will take you up till 10 o'clock. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Dan Hicken.
I love him. And I don't care what you think.
Dan Hicken.
I love him for the man he wants to be, and I love him for the man that he almost is.
Dan Hicken. Mornings on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Summer in Jacksonville. Sun's out, flip-flops on, and whoa! Well, there goes Uncle Bob into the pool again. Protect your pool deck with Don't Slip Deck Coatings of Jacksonville. Their multi-layered slip-resistant coatings keep you on your feet, not on your backside. Durable, stylish, and way cheaper than an ER visit. Don't Slip Deck Coatings even has indoor options so your kitchen floor isn't a skating rink. Call 904-466-1839 for a free quote and follow Don't Slip Jacks on Facebook and Instagram.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
First Coast, I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging in the mirror, fine lines, sun damage, redness? They don't have to be part of your future. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, and I can help you look and feel your best without invasive surgery or painful treatments. Imagine rejuvenating your skin in a relaxing, comfortable environment with minimal to no downtime. Smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, and restore that youthful glow. Find out how to look and feel your best at Dermagnify.com. Dermagnify.com.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Baseball is back. Don't miss this year's Florida State baseball game, Tuesday, March 25th at VyStar Ballpark at 6 p.m. This can't-miss event sells out quickly, so buy your tickets today to get the best seats possible. It's Florida State on the diamond at VyStar Ballpark, Tuesday, March 25th. Get your tickets at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. Free agency begins today. Deals cannot be officially signed until Wednesday, although they can be agreed on, and that is what the Jaguars did earlier today with Eric Murray from the Houston Texans. The safety is staying in the AFC South and now coming to Jacksonville. Let's talk to a man that's one of the best in covering the National Football League, has done so for many, many years. He's based out in Houston. That is John McClain. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. John, how we doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Hey, John, we appreciate the time on a busy day for everybody. Eric Murray, the 31-year-old safety, on his way to Jacksonville. What were your thoughts on the former Texan?
Eric was here for 5 seasons. He was very dependable and reliable. He could play special teams. He could play free safety, strong safety. The Texans always had injuries at safeties, and I don't know why. 2 years ago, Eric played in 6 games, started 4, down for the season. Last year, they lost Jalen Petrie and Jimmy Ward, and Eric started 14 games after playing in all 17. So he's not one of those guys that has nagging injuries. And I look back with the Texans, he played, let's say he missed 3, unless he had that major injury, he only missed 3 games in the other 4 seasons. And so I thought the Texans would re-sign Eric because they needed another safety anyway, because Eric Murray and MJ Stewart, who were their backups, both those guys are unrestricted, and I think he'll be a key addition as a key reserve and as a really good special teams player.
He's getting decent money here in Jacksonville, too. Eric Murray, a newest Jaguar. We got John McClain in Houston talking about Eric Murray. John, 31 years old. I don't know if that's a red flag necessarily, but the Jaguars have decided to go a little older in free agency. Jordan Lewis from Dallas, another guy out in your state you're probably familiar with, 29. Yeah. Now Eric Murray at 31. What do you make of the Jaguars going a little older in the secondary today?
Well, I'm sure that Liam Cohen doesn't call it older. He calls it more experienced. Fact is, they're getting more players older than the general manager, right? Yeah. And so I think usually when you sign those experienced guys, you're close to the playoffs. And I'm guessing the Jaguars think if they can keep Trevor Lawrence healthy, they're going to be competing for a playoff berth. Otherwise, you don't sign those guys at that age. But both those guys can play. Obviously, they need help in the secondary, and good for them. You got the money to spend. Sometimes it's better to spend it on experience if they're healthy.
John, while we have you here, I want to talk about Christian Kirk, but while I have you here, obviously you've been covering the league for a long, long time. You're absolutely terrific at what you do. You mentioned Liam Cohen and James Gladstone. I mean, a 29-year-old offensive coordinator in Grant Udinski. It's a youth movement on the coaching staff here in Jacksonville. From afar, what have you made of what the Jaguars have done?
Shad Khan, who spends a lot of money. I saw something last year about he'd spent over $400 million in either signing bonuses or free agent contracts. So he'll spend money. He's tried everything. Successful former college coach. That bombed out. Then an older Super Bowl winning coach. That didn't work, although I thought they might stick with Doug Peterson one more year, considering all the injuries they had last year. But he's tried the experience angle, so why not go young? I'll tell you, I've been doing talk shows in Nashville 2 a week for 28 years. And when Cohen was at Kentucky, I just started hearing about him, and Will Levis had his best season as a sophomore with Cohen as his coach. Then Cohen left, and Levis was okay, still got drafted high in the second round by the Titans, but he certainly wasn't as good. And I will be curious to see if the Titans draft a quarterback overall, which I believe they will, and in the veteran they have as a backup. Do you want an experienced veteran? But if Will Levis gets cut or they trade him for a low pick, will he go to Jacksonville to back up Trevor Lawrence, since Cohen knows him so well? And I kind of like the youth movement. I saw here when the Texans hired Gary Kubiak in 2006, it was Gary's first head coaching job. He's a Houston native. Everybody was fired up about it. And they hired Rick Smith, one of the personnel directors at Denver, to come as the GM. And everybody said, well, that's not going to work. You can't have a first-time head coach and a first-time general manager. You need experience in one of those positions. And it worked out great. And so I'm hoping it works out great for the Jaguars. I admire them doing what they're doing. I love the Tony Boselli move. I'm sorry we took so long to get Tony into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and know how much he loves the Jaguars. And so I like everything that's going on over there. And I don't know, I'm not talking about fans, I'm talking about media people that I know who follow the Jaguars, which basically everybody in Houston, because the division, they're all impressed. You don't know if it's going to work out, but I think Shad Khan gets a lot of credit for what he's willing to do.
Final moments with John McClain out in Houston talking about newest Jaguar Eric Murray. From the Texans to the Jaguars, there was also a Jaguars to the Texans last week, John, with Christian Kirk. Opened a lot of eyebrows here why the Jaguars would do that. My thought is, well, they were going to release him anyway. Who's to say he wouldn't have signed in Houston if he was released? At least they get something for him, a 7th-round pick in 2026. What has been the reaction of Christian Kirk's arrival in Houston?
People are really fired up about it for a couple of reasons. He's well known from Texas A&M, which is 85 miles from Houston, and our area's loaded with Aggies. He also has played very well against the Texans, and that's what all the TV shows were showing as highlights against the Texans. And I remember when the Jaguars gave him that big contract after 4 years in Arizona, everybody thought, oh my God, for Christian Kirk, he's never had a 1,000-yard season, never caught more than 6 touchdown passes. And then that first year was tremendous. And I know he's gone down the last 2 years, missed 5 games in 23, and of course, he missed 9 last season. And it's not like he had to have knee surgery, ankle, quad, anything like that. You know, it's a shoulder. And in fact, he's 28. This is his 2nd year in a row that Nick Caserio's done this, and I don't know why more don't do it. He sees a guy that's about to be cut, who's 28 years old, who's been successful last year with Joe Mixon. There were all the reports. He was being shopped because the Bengals were going to cut him, even though he was coming off a season with over 1,000 yards rushing and over 300 receiving and 12 touchdowns. And he made good money. So Caserio goes, we need a running back. We'll give you 7. They said, okay, and he turned out to be great. Mm-hmm. And then they're hoping the same thing with Christian Kirk. We'll give you 7 and 26. So they're hoping it works out. If they had, I guess they ran out of 7, so they could have done that with a couple other players that got released. They'll redo Kirk's contract. I'm sure they've already got it agreed to. They don't want to pay him $16.5 million this year. They did that with Mixon, gave him a 3-year deal to lower the salary cap hit, and they'll do that with Kirk as well.
John McClain out in Houston, one of the best, has been covering the NFL for a long time. John, I know you're busy. Thank you for joining me on short notice to talk about brand new Jaguar safety Eric Murray. We certainly appreciate you, my friend.
My pleasure. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
There's a reason why people love to listen to play-by-play on the radio.
This is unbelievable what we're witnessing. I'm serious.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Getting a pool? David Garrard here. I just did. But before they dug, I called Clearwater Irrigation, and they capped off all my sprinkler lines so the pool company could just dig away.
Then when your pool's finished, we'll install your sprinkler system back to full coverage.
And now my backyard oasis is getting watered beautifully.
And maybe then, Dave, I could take another quick dip.
Bigger swimming trunks, John. Much bigger.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
Are
you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Looking for adventure? Need a machine that works as hard as you do? CF Moto has you covered. At Ride Now Beach Boulevard, we've got CF Moto ATVs and UTVs built for any task, any trail, anytime. Tear up the dirt with the trail-tested C-Force ATV lineup or conquer through terrain with a Z-Force UTV. Find your CF Moto ride today at Ride Now Beach Boulevard or visit ridenowbeachboulevard.com. ATVs and UTVs are for riders 16 and older. They can be hazardous to operate. CF Moto recommends an improved safety training course.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts, sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. If you want to see Florida take on Florida State at the Showdown at the baseball grounds at VyStar Ballpark, March 25th, text baseball to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win tickets.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
ET here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Matt and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Tired of spending all day looking for a new truck? Then stop. At Garber Auto Mall, you can see every new American-made truck side by side. Chevy, GMC, Buick, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Visit us at GarberAutomall.com or in Green Cove Springs. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Hicken here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bowden Eye. Visit Bowden Eye & Associates today and experience the difference. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to John McClain out in Houston. Caught up with John earlier this week to recap the Eric Murray signing. Likewise, caught up with Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram to talk about both Jordan Lewis and Emmanuel Edoga, the two Dallas Cowboys that signed in Jacksonville. We'll play you that conversation with Nick Harris coming up here in just a moment. Ryan Michael of KOA Radio in Denver to talk about Evan Ingram, the brand new Denver Bronco. He comes up towards the bottom of the hour. Florida is going to get some revenge on Missouri. Missouri was one of the only teams, in fact, the only team to come into Gainesville and beat the Gators. One of only 4 teams to beat Florida this year. Florida is getting that revenge, though, 91-75 with about 2 minutes to go. So Florida will advance to the semifinals of the SEC tournament tomorrow afternoon. They will now rest, and they will watch Kentucky and Alabama go at it in about 45 minutes. And the winner of Kentucky and Alabama will play the Gators. Of course, the first semifinal tomorrow in Nashville will be Auburn and Tennessee. Boy, if it's Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, and Denmark, I don't even think it matters, Kentucky or Alabama. What a semifinal Saturday for the SEC tournament. 2 really good games that I'm looking forward to. Also, the second round of the players. Boy, between Lee, Batia, Spahn, Smalley, McElroy, Morikawa, you got, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 guys within 2 shots of the lead. Back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler still lingering at 5 under par. He's 6 shots off the pace. Tommy Fleetwood, Lucas Glover, Billy Horschel, Harris English, all guys that are very much in contention as we head into the weekend with third-round action beginning at the Players late tomorrow morning. 2 former Dallas Cowboys are now 2 newest members of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Our guy out in Dallas is Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. I caught up with Nick earlier this week to give us the very latest, the 411, if you will, on the 2 Cowboys making their way here to Duval. Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. NFL free agency deals are not official until Wednesday, but obviously they can be agreed to terms. And earlier today, the Jacksonville Jaguars look like they went out and got themselves a brand new defensive back, going to Dallas and getting a veteran in Jordan Lewis from the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go out to our guy in Dallas, Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Nick, how you doing?
Man, doing fantastic. It's we were talking about it before we hopped on. Definitely an interesting day for Twitter to go down, but here we are nevertheless.
Yeah, unbelievable. Come on, Elon. What are you doing, man? All right. So Jordan Lewis, let's get the information. Long-time Dallas Cowboy, right? His entire career in Dallas dating back to, I believe, 2017, correct?
Yeah, drafted in 2017 out of Michigan. Spent 8 years as the slot nickel corner for the Cowboys and has been really consistent, really efficient, and probably played his best season in 2024, despite a ton of things going on around him, not only on the defensive side of the ball, but in the franchise as well. He was one of the lone bright spots to shine on that Cowboys defense.
I guess one of the main questions here that I've gotten since the announcement, longtime Dallas Cowboy, why did they not want to bring him back, or did they want to bring him back?
They did. He was considered a top priority after they got Osa Odighizuwa's deal done last week to bring him back. They pivoted their attention to Jordan Lewis, and I was told by multiple people in Dallas that he was their top in-house free agent priority going into that next week, and they weren't able to get a deal figured out. There was never a deal that was made, or never an offer that was made, I should say. But I think the Cowboys were expecting this deal to come in around $6-7 million, not $10 million. So this is a big pay for Jacksonville Jacksonville to go get a slot nickel corner who can provide consistency, provide reliability. But 3 years, $30 million makes him the highest paid nickel in the NFL. And Jacksonville was certainly willing to pay that price for it.
Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He's our guy when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. The Jaguars go out to Dallas earlier and agree to terms with cornerback Jordan Lewis. And that's my next question. The nickel name, the nickel spot is where it appears he's going to be. Is that your assumption?
Yes, absolutely. Now, he did have to play some outside corner at times last year. The Cowboys, I think they fielded 12 cornerbacks last year because of injury. But nevertheless, he's going to be an inside guy. He'll play in the slot. He has a ton of experience playing there in the slot. And his stature at about 5'10.5", 190 pounds, that's what fits him best. And then he's going to be a really great locker room for the young guys in that room as well. He was a part of the leadership council in Dallas, does a lot of stuff for the community, big-time presence in that locker room that will help Jacksonville as well.
And you led me right into it. He's 29. I believe he's going to be 30 in August, so he's been around for a while. But like you said, you follow the Cowboys as closely as anybody. You think his best year was last year, so maybe age won't be a factor, at least for 2025.
That's not the indication, at least. And you look at his career and how it's gone. He's been a model of consistency, and he's been a model of reliability outside of the 2022 season when in roughly week 10, week 11, he suffered a Lisfranc injury to the top of his foot, and it was career-threatening, and it almost took him out for the rest of his NFL career. He had to have multiple surgeries on the top of his foot. People didn't think he would come back the same way, and not only did he come back the same way, he got better as 2024 went on. This is a really high character guy, a guy that's come back from a really a difficult injury, and that's the only time he's ever missed in his NFL career.
Final moments, Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Nick, it's a changing of the guard here in Jacksonville. I mean, for crying out loud, we have a 29-year-old offensive coordinator. We have a 34-year-old general manager, a 39-year-old head coach. I don't think it's a rebuild, but it's a retooling, no question about it. We've talked about the player. Let's talk about the person, Jordan Lewis. What kind of guy is coming to the Jaguar organization?
Yeah, us in the media in Dallas, we give out a Media Good Guy award every year, and it's basically to the guy who is always there to answer questions, win or lose, is always there to help us off the record with stuff as well. And that award unanimously went to Jordan Lewis last year because not only is he a good guy with the media, he's also a good guy in the community. You'll see him out in the community doing stuff in Jacksonville. He's going to be a leader for the young guys on defense in Jacksonville. It'd be tough to find a better free agent in this NFL free agent class when it comes to being a good person and a good dude than Jordan Lewis. I think Jacksonville hit a home run when it comes to the personality aspect of it.
Nick, final question. Myles Garrett got $1 billion this weekend. What does Micah Parsons think of this moving forward?
Yeah, maybe he's trying to get $1.1 billion now, right? But the question in Dallas is, okay, $40 million per year for Myles Garrett. Is that the new floor for Micah Parsons, or is that the ceiling for Micah Parsons? I think that's going to be kind of the question as the negotiations go on. Now, his agent, David Mulugeta, he is known for getting that top dollar, and he is known for resetting the market. So he's certainly going to try to do that with Micah Parsons. Now, Micah did say in late December, he's like, look, I don't need to be the highest paid defender. I don't need $40 million per year. I just want to get a deal done quick so we have some certainty heading into free agency. Well, we're heading into free agency and no deal is done. So we'll have to see as this negotiation goes on. But the Myles Garrett part of it certainly makes it a little bit more interesting.
Final moments, Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star-Telegram with us here on 1010XL. And Nick, by the way, just coming across the wire right now, the Jaguars have gone back to Dallas for an offensive lineman. Chuma Edoga is going to join. Jordan Lewis is now the second Dallas Cowboy that's agreed to terms with Jacksonville today. Your reaction to Chuma Edoga also coming to Jacksonville?
Yeah, Edoga was a guy that Mike McCarthy really liked when he was in Dallas, obviously before Brian Schottenheimer took over. He was used as kind of the sixth man on that offensive line, if you will, a swing tackle. They had him fill in whenever Tyler Guyton had some growing pains last year, also had some injury struggles. He's also played a little bit of right guard for them too. I personally believe that he's better at guard than he is at tackle, but the Cowboys, they really forced him at that tackle position. Sometimes he was all right, and then there was sometimes he wasn't that great at all. I think back to a Christmas Eve game in 2023 against the Dolphins where he just got eaten alive by that Dolphins pass rushing unit, and it ended up being a 2-point loss for the Cowboys. But it's a good six-man to have. He's a veteran presence, and he'll work well in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm getting a sense they're looking for versatility along the offensive line. They went and got Patrick McCarry from Baltimore, who's literally played every spot on the O-line. And you mentioned Edoga, both a guard and a center, or a guard and a tackle, rather. And the interesting thing about him, he was like a 5-star kid coming out of Atlanta, I believe. Went out to Southern Cal, so coming close to home now, back into the Southeast.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a good dude, too. Really good guy, down to earth. He's kind of shy when it comes to the media stuff, but if you catch him off to the side, really good dude. And as far as, having that type of experience, not only with the Cowboys, going back to his time with the Jets, going back to his time at USC, good veteran presence to have on an offensive line that I would expect to have some young guys.
Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Jordan Lewis and Chuma Edoga, 2 former Dallas Cowboys, now coming to Jacksonville. Nick, again, thank you for your time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.
It's Jacksonville's annual March meeting place.
Fascinating people.
1010XL is your radio home for the Players' Championship with live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates.
From Heroes Lawn Care, Taco Lou, and TopDressing.com.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Tired of drafty, noisy vinyl windows? It's time to say goodbye to vinyl. And hello to lasting comfort with Renewal by Andersen windows and doors. Our exclusive Fiberx windows are 2 times stronger than vinyl, more energy efficient, and custom built to fit your home perfectly. No more warping, no more cracking, just beautiful, durable windows that stand the test of time. Right now, get special financing or save big with limited time discounts. Call Renewal by Andersen today and say bye-bye vinyl. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com. Don't wait. Upgrade today. License number CGC 1527613.
With the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go Gators!
DUI? BUI? Don't stress. Call me Malcolm Anthony. 285-4-LAW. That's 285-4-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Struggling with ED? Now Riddle Wellness has a solution that works. You've heard of PRP treatments for joint pain relief. That same technology is now available with the P-Shot, a non-surgical treatment for ED. Using your body's natural power, the P-Shot helps restore function naturally. No pills, no downtime, just results. Schedule a free consultation at elevatejacksonville.com and learn what the P-Shot can do for you. Riddle Wellness, your health, your confidence totally restored. Visit elevatejacksonville.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, what a crazy offseason it's been here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. From the coaching search, the GM search, they've been the most active team to this point in NFL free agency, and they've said goodbye to some really good players, quite frankly. One of them was Evan Ingram, who found a new home yesterday with the Denver Broncos. Our guy when it comes to Denver is Ryan Michael. You hear him out on KOA Radio in Denver. He's also a contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Ryan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing well, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, Ryan, we're good. Thank you for the time. All right, Evan Ingram to the Broncos. Your reaction when you saw Ingram make that decision?
My feelings are the same as I expressed last night on Broncos Country Tonight, KOA out in Denver. I am excited, but I'm also cautious. So I guess we could start with some of the positive data. And, you know, I covered the team down in Duval for 2 seasons, so I'm very familiar with Evan Ingram. In 2023, when he was healthy, caught 114 passes. That is still the second highest mark in the history of the National Football League for a tight end. It's the highest mark in the history of the AFC, a number that neither Travis Kelce nor Rob Gronkowski ever touched, with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes throwing those guys the football. Even more impressive than that number is the fact that he caught 79.7% of his targets, which is a mind-numbing number for a guy who hauled in 114 passes. If you look at his average over the last 3 years in Duval, and you stretch it out over a 17-game span, obviously hasn't been healthy, but you know he was hauling in on average 93 receptions for 828 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's never been a touchdown maker. 76.7% catch percentage. Last year only had 1 game above 50 receiving yards, and so when you consider the fact that he'll be 31 years of age come week 1, assuming he's ready for week 1, and we'll see what his participation looks like in the offseason. coming off the labrum surgery. I definitely have concerns. And as you and your audience know, Ryan, I'm a strong advocate of Trevor Lawrence. I coined the nickname All 22 Trevor. And so when I look at various skill position players, I look at who's throwing in the football. And during that same stretch of time, Trevor Lawrence had a higher DVOA than Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts in 2022. Those guys were both playing at MVP levels that year. He led the the AFC in adjusted EPA per play in 2023. So a lot of folks felt he took a step back. I thought he took a small step forward. And last year, before he suited up for Houston, a game he should have never participated in, he was top 10 in adjusted EPA per play, total QBR, touchdown passes. And so when you consider who was throwing him the football, did that make Evan Ingram look a little bit better than he might be? It's possible. It's something that concerns me, but I'm hoping for good things out here in Broncos country, that's for sure.
Ryan Michael, KOA Radio in Denver. He's also a contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ryan, were you surprised that head coach Liam Cohen, general manager James Gladstone made the decisions to part with both Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk this offseason?
I was a little bit more surprised that they let go of Evan Ingram, but in the vein of the old Bill Belichick saying, sometimes it's better to get out a year too soon than a year too later. So when you factor in the age and the injury history of those two players, I'm not shocked. I think that the Jaguars need to clear up cap space, and they're really looking to rebuild. I wouldn't say this year is a retooling. I would say that it is a rebuilding. And so as much as it hurts to see those guys go, they've been staples of the roster for 3 years now. I think now is the appropriate time, and you're going to be seeing a very different Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025.
I completely agree with you. There's a lot of people down here that say they're not that far away. It's a retooling. And I say, look, they've lost 18 of their last 23 games. All right. Teams that are retooling are not 5-18 in their last 23. It is far closer to a rebuild than a retooling. And Ryan, I think we saw that in some of their free agency work. Now they've brought in more guys than any other team, 9 outside free agents. I know you're pretty familiar with a handful of these guys. Let's begin on the offensive line. The two guys that are probably going to start, Robert Hanesy at center. They brought him in from Tampa. And Patrick McCarry's a fascinating guy from Baltimore, a guy that has over 250 snaps in the NFL at all 5 offensive line positions. I mean, that is wild to me. He's got to be the only guy in the league that can say that versatility. What was your reaction with Hanesy and McCarry along the offensive line?
I'm excited for you guys about both signings. I guess I'll start off with Hanesy because I'm a little bit more excited about McCarry. But obviously, it's good to have familiarity in the locker room. He's a guy who's played under Cohen before. And so 60 games of experience, that's nothing to sneeze at. 2,403 snaps. I think he's a little bit better of a pass blocker than a run blocker. And run blocking is definitely going to be something you guys will need to address. I still think he's an upgrade at the position. Patrick McCarry is the one that really has me excited. I mean, he's played darn near 100 games of NFL football, nearly 4,000 snaps in his career. And as you mentioned, he's played at every position. When you consider the fact that he has been a blocker for a guy in Lamar Jackson, who is a 2-time NFL MVP and a 3-time first-team All-Pro selection. I put out a stat about a month ago. I don't have it in front of me, but Lamar Jackson last year, if you combine the regular season and the postseason, was literally one completion away from breaking Matt Ryan's NFL record for the highest passer rating in NFL history, regular season and postseason combined. That's not even factoring in what he's doing with his legs. So you have a guy in McCarry who's played every position, and it is not easy to block for a quarterback who is as explosive, a dual threat as anything the game has ever seen, because you have to be on guard, on alert at all times. I think that diversity, what he brings to the table, is going to be helpful in Duval, especially for a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. You guys should be pretty jazzed about that signing.
A couple more for Ryan Michael, contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ryan, De'Ami Brown is the wide receiver the Jaguars brought in. And look, some people are questioning that signing, $10 million for 1 year. I love the 1 year aspect of it. It's basically a prove-it year for De'Ami Brown. You look at what he did in Washington, particularly in the playoffs. Look, Liam Cohen saw him up close and personal, right? Wild card weekend. Brown goes for 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown in Washington's win over Tampa. That, to me, Ryan, is a sneaky good signing. Let's save the tape on this because I think come October or November, I think De'Ami Brown might be a real under-the-radar addition here in Jacksonville.
It's certainly a move that isn't going to come without controversy because you look at your situation. I believe Gabe Davis is guaranteed a little over $12 million this year. And so the first question that I ask myself is he an upgrade over Gabe Davis? And I'm not a fan of the drops in Duval. You know that. You guys led the league in 2021, led the league in drops again in 2022. I can't count how many touchdowns were dropped in 2023. Still a problem last season. And so, for Brown, if you're looking at the postseason stretch and postseason, 14 receptions for 299 yards, a touchdown, a catch percentage of nearly 80%. Average that over a 17-game stretch, you'd have 79 receptions for 1,298 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's an explosive receiver. You're getting him at the peak of his power, and you wonder what he can do in Liam Cohen's offense. If everything gels the way that you're hoping it to, he's going to be a heck of a signing for the money, and given the money that's already tied up in Gabe Davis, I think that you can afford to do that with some of the cap space you've just freed up. I don't think it's a guarantee home run, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this offense.
Final question, Ryan, and again, I want to end with a really cool venture that you have coming up in the coaching coaching world.
Sure.
As far as Jacksonville goes, we remember the thought last year that, well, this is the best team the Jaguars have ever had, that Shad Khan said, and he obviously heard that from Trent Baalke because Baalke was just feeding him all that stuff to try to save his behind. Obviously, it didn't work. And you look at what the outsiders have done. Cohen and Gladstone have come in here, and in less than 2 months, they've signed the most outside free agents of any team in the league. They haven't re-signed anybody, right? Ingram's gone, Kirk is gone, Andre Sisco's gone, Mac Jones is gone, Blake Hance, Luke Farrell. I mean, they haven't brought any of the guys back. Obviously, Cohen and Gladstone looked at this roster, and not on words, I mean, based on their actions, it tells you that they knew a lot of work needed to be done here.
There's no question about it. And for a team that just finished 26th in points scored, that's even factoring in when you had Trevor Lawrence, who was still playing at a high level outside of the box score, and 27th in points per game surrendered. The defense has really been an issue, especially for the last 3 years. I remember, I think in 2022, when you guys made the postseason, they were still close to the bottom in defensive DVOA, despite the fact that they had some big name studs on the roster. And so I think you look at the history of Jacksonville football, especially over the last decade, and you could shorten that span certainly to the last few years, and you don't look at a roster like that and say, this is what we need to sustain success for the long term, because I've heard a lot of hype coming out of Duval for the last 3-4 years about just how good the team could be and how good the roster looked on paper. And I think this is the first time that you have people coming in saying, listen, it's not about on paper anymore. We've seen what the results have been, and they've fallen short of the expectations of ownership, of the fan base, of everybody, even the standards they set for themselves. And I think it's a good thing that you're going to see a brand new Jacksonville Jaguars team this year because, hey, you guys are coming off a 4-win season. How much worse could it get? I'd rather see you guys rebuild from the ground up than continue to retool every year and hype up the fans with false promises.
For people that follow you on social media, that listen to you on my show, obviously you're about the numbers, the analytics. That's what you do. A terrific job, the contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As we talk about, you also do a lot of work with KOA Radio in Denver. And now you're branching out into kind of the coaching aspect of things. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've coached in the Indoor Football League for 3 seasons. I coached for the Barcelona Dragons of the European League of Football last year. And so now I'm a defensive analyst with the Prague Lions of the European League of Football. We have a team that we're very excited about. The roster, guys like Jalen Embry, Ken Hite Jr., Javarian Smith, Willie Patterson, Raheem Kalos, Arthur Kingdom. I'm excited to work with these guys. And we have an all-star coaching staff, starting with our head coach, Dave Warner. He was a quarterback at Syracuse. He was a quarterback coach and assistant offensive coordinator at Michigan State, led them to the college football playoffs in 2015, prepared 4 quarterbacks for the NFL, Brian Hoyer, Connor Cook, Nick Foles, Kirk Cousins. He was the offensive coordinator for the Madrid Bravos in the ELF last year. And when I coached for the Barcelona Dragon, Coach Warner's offense was the most difficult for me to prepare for, so I'm glad I don't have to compete against him anymore. We have Golden Pat Rule as our assistant head coach and offensive line coach. He's a guy who helped Brett Favre win 2 All-Pro selections from 2001 to 2002 with the Green Bay Packers, helped Reggie Bush win a Heisman Trophy in 2005, helped lead the Seattle Seahawks to 2 Super Bowls, winning it all in 2013. Our defensive coordinator, James Brooks, he was the defensive lineman for Arizona State. He was part of a defense that held Andrew Luck to 0 touchdowns. The only time it happened during his final 2 years at Stanford. Darquez Denard is our defensive back coach. He was a first-round draft pick in 2014, a guy who's competed against Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, you name it. Our linebacker coach, Dan Levy, is a legend over in Prague. So I am humbled to be a small part of this coaching staff. And if you look at the European League of Football as a whole, I'll give you a Duval connection. Jack Del Rio signing as the head coach of the Paris Musketeers. I think that brought a lot of awareness to our league. Jim Tomsula has been the head coach of the Rhine Fire for a few years. So it's a league that has been growing and becoming bigger and better every single season. And as I said, I'm humbled and happy to be a small part of it.
Well, that's fantastic. I actually visited Prague years back. That is a terrific, terrific city. When does the season get underway?
So our season starts in the middle of May, and so we're looking forward to it. We're getting closer and closer to week 1, so we've been grinding.
Well, best of luck with that. That's terrific. Ryan Michael, contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You also hear his work at KOA Radio in Denver, which is now the brand new home of former Jaguar tight end Evan Ingram. Ryan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, pal. We'll talk again soon.
Always appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
And thank you to Ryan Michael, who is a contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You can also catch his work with KOA Radio out in Denver, Colorado, as we talked about Evan Ingram, the now former Jacksonville Jaguar, who signed a 2-year deal with the Broncos earlier this week. I think Evan's going to do really good out there for Sean Payton and his offense, Bo Nix as well. I think it's a good landing spot for Evan Ingram. And look, Ryan also had some interesting takes on Trevor Lawrence and on what some of the new free agents the Jaguars added could potentially do to this offense. So we certainly appreciate Ryan Michael taking time out for us tonight. And we talked a lot about the Jaguars. Obviously, they've been the big story this week. Certainly spent some time on the second round of the players and, of course, on the NCAA tournament and the conference tournaments going on right now. Selection Sunday comes up this Sunday, and we will see where the Florida Gators are seeded. They'll be no worse than a 2 seed, potentially a 1 seed. We'll have to see how everything plays out when all is said and done. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very busy Friday and an incredibly busy week here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys taking time out for us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, thank you to Ryan Michael, contributing writer and analyst for the Pro Football Hall of Fame and KOA Radio in Denver, Colorado. Thank you to longtime NFL reporter John McClain for joining us to give us a little info on the Jaguars' newest safety, Eric Murray. We also had Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram talking about both Jordan Lewis and Chuma Edoga, 2 former Dallas Cowboys that are now here in Jacksonville. J.C. Allen of Tampa joined us as well to give us some info on Robert Hanesy. And back in hour number 1, Mason Johnstone of the Draft Network to talk about not only the Jaguars free agent haul, but what that may mean when it comes to the draft for the Jaguars in late April. Now, we are on our way, my wife, my son, and I, to New England for a few days. We will be back on Wednesday. Hacker After Dark will return on Wednesday. I'm off on Monday and Tuesday, but we will be back Wednesday in plenty of time to preview March Madness and the NCAA tournament. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending not only your Friday evening, but your entire week with us here on Hacker After Dark. As we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Friday evening and a fantastic weekend. And I will talk to you after I return from New England right here on Hacker After Dark next Wednesday, beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
More Jaguars. More Gators. More sports talk for Jacksonville. 1010XL. When you want more.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out. You need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's Terminix.com. That's right, Terminix it.
E.T. here, and spring in Clay County means one thing, the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On March 14, 1954, Milwaukee Braves future home run king Hank Aaron homers in his debut exhibition game against the Boston Red Sox.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WinterWorld wants you to do. WinterWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WinterWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WinterWorld can.
And with WinterWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WinterWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WinterWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WinterWorld, and to top it off, WinterWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WinterWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WinterWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at WinterWorldNEFlorida.com.
WinterWorld, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
The hoops action continues on the first Friday of the tourney. Watch the madness with 1010XL and enjoy madness specials all day long, starting with helmets and heels, live from Big Dog Sports Restaurant on Blanding. Then join XL Primetime at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island. The Frangie Show will be at String Sports Brewery in Jacks Beach, and finish the day with Into the Night with Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark at Top Dog Tavern on Old St. Augustine Road. Now that's the way to celebrate hoop.